Welcome back to Business Boone, a product of the Boone County Chamber and hosted by Deepen Talent Strategies. I'm Shauna Lake.
And I'm Lauren Byram, and today we are joined by Shad Tidler, consultant with Lucian Inc. Thank you so much for being here. How are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Doing well, thank
Good.
you. We're excited to chat with you today and talk with you about business development in the economic times and kind of uncertainty that we're going through right now. Oh, shoot.
Did we do something?
Yeah, it was me the last time, so.
Okay. We're open to feedback. Welcome back to Business Boone, brought to you by the Boone County Chamber and hosted by Deepen Talent Strategies. I'm Shauna Lake.
And I'm Lauren Byram. And today we are joined by Shad Tidler from Lucian Inc. He is a consultant there. Welcome. How are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Doing fine, thanks. And thanks for joining us. We're excited to chat with you today about sales and business development in, our unsettling economic times that we're going through. So hopefully our listeners find it engaging. But I'm curious, one thing that we talk about first and ask our guests is if your life was titled a movie, what would that be?
I was thinking about this as you prompted ahead for it. And I didn't think of like a title of my life so much as I thought of a movie title that might relate.
Okay.
And a couple of them are The Hobbit, The Unexpected Journey. I feel like my life's been an unexpected journey in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And when I talk about that, I started off, I was supposed to be an engineer out of Purdue and be a mechanical engineer and design stuff. And after a year at that, I went, no, that's not going to work. And so unexpectedly, I ended up in the business school and started into the world of logistics and was in operations and sales and had a chance to travel the world through a couple companies I worked for. And then I kind of unexpectedly fell into the world of sales just by moving to New York City back in 2004 and having logistics experience. I got on as an inside salesperson at a logistics company that was their North America headquarters there, and that led me into selling and then moving back here to Indiana in 2010. And then I unexpectedly found my way to Lucian as a client back in I think it was right around 2011 for 3 years. And then unexpectedly, when I decided I'm ready to get out of this logistics sales world, unexpectedly just had a conversation with the president of Lucian, Aaron, and said, I think I'm ready to do something different. And he went, come work for us.
Right.
And that was 11 years ago.
Awesome.
So it's just been like this series of, like, if I would have tracked it all back to 2000 when I was getting ready to graduate college, I said there would have never been going to this world of business development and sales, and no way. And here I am, 25 years later.
And you love it.
Oh, yeah, it's been great ride. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, thanks for sharing your story.
Yeah.
I think we just uncovered a pattern of great recruitment strategies.
What's that?
One of our team members came to work for Deepen in a very similar way.
Okay.
She called and said, I'm ready to make a change. Will you help me update my resume? And I said, nope, you're just going to come work for me. So
Well,
this is a great
here's
pattern.
the funny part is when I look back, and Aaron and I have known each other for a while. We're very close. Like, I've gotten to know his wife as kids, and before that, when I was a client. As we got talking afterwards, like once I was hired, he goes, did you not realize I was recruiting you over the past year? And I thought back to all, it's like a fish doesn't know it's in water till you take it out, right? That old analogy. It's like I thought back and went, oh, yeah, that's a conversation. Oh, yeah, he asked me about this. Oh, yeah, I can see all the patterns of connections, but when I was in the moment, I couldn't see it.
Nice.
Right. But yes, it did help with the recruiting at that point.
Great.
Sure.
So effective sales is you don't even know you're being
no,
sold
that's
to.
the great part. One of the things we always said, the best presentation you'll give the customer or prospect will never see. He was doing that, and I totally didn't even pick up on it through that year prior to me coming on board. Yeah.
I
He
love
needs to
it.
teach a class.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So we've mentioned Lucian a little bit. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what Lucian is, what they do, and what are the priorities of Lucian?
Okay. So we're, a lot of people know us for sales training and coaching. That's what they kind of think of us as the first thing. But that's one part, and that's also often kind of the last part of what we do, which people are like, well, that seems weird. That's what you're known for. We believe in very much what we call transformation of businesses and their growth. And not even just that, like people. So if you look at our mission statement that we redid a few years ago, I'm going to butcher the exact words, but something to the effect of being a beacon and a lighthouse of development and growth for people, in their journey. And so it takes it away from just sales and takes it more about, are we helping companies and their people grow and develop? And if you think of from a sales side, is grow that next level. So the 4 parts that we really focus on are, number 1, strategy. And we're often working with the owner, president, CEO, or that leader company and their vision, right? So strategy is things like, where is it? Do you want to go? Do you eventually want to hand this business off to your relatives, family? Is this like us, we became an employee-owned company because that was a vision of Paul Lucian to perpetuate the company and to give back. Is this we want to sell it off at some point? We get some point, sell it off, and then go into our next venture. Well, we have to know where that's going and what are the checkpoints and the goals along the way, and what strategies need to be there for growing new versus existing, for make sure you're even going after the ideal clients that are going to be the best fit for you to help, because you can't help everybody. So that's strategy. Next becomes the structure piece. So what is your sales process and your growth process? Is everybody kind of winging it, doing their own things? Or do we have something that we want to give a framework, everybody's going to play. I always think of this. It's like a piece of music. If it's Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, right? Those notes are the same, but everybody plays it in a little different style when they sit down the piano. And so we want to give you the notes and the structure and the process, but everybody's going to play it differently based on their personality, because that's what will be natural, right? But you have to have something to base it off and go, did we complete this piece of music? Helping, make sure we get that it's effective. We have the right, if you go, hey, my salespeople, like one of them needs to do, I'm just going to round number, $1 million a year. Well, you just say it like it was kind of my first sales job, where like, here you go to it. That was onboarding, literally. Like at 8 a.m. on a Monday morning, it's like, here's the laptop of the guy before you. Here's access to the CRM. Here's some files. Go to it, and I'll see you at lunch at noon.
And you just coming out of college?
I'd been working, but this is my first outside sales role.
Okay.
So I'd never gone and just moved back to Indiana.
Wow.
Like I didn't have contacts here in this market. It's not like I had like I'd worked in the market and like a base of other, like a network. It was like, I'm going from scratch, right? Well, we want to help you get ahead of that. Is like, let's design out, if your people need to reach these goals, or this is what they're committing to, a plan to get there. What do they need to do each day, and how many conversations they need to get with, and how many meetings and how many opportunities, and we're tracking the right metrics and KPIs and going, we're on track. Do we need to adjust? Are we doing enough? Not enough? Fast enough? Right? So it's a plan versus just go out and do some stuff and let's cross fingers a year from now we hit the goal. In that structure is also how to hire and onboard new people. If you're growing and go, now we want more people to help us grow faster, or you turn some people over, having the right tools and pieces to hire and onboard. And so third part is now staff is, okay, what skills and strengths they have, using tools to understand before you just throw a bunch of stuff at a wall and hope it sticks. What skills and tools are there? What's missing to help them grow, to help you get to where you need to? And then finally is the training, how to put it into real life conversations, right? The skill sets of how to, not even just salespeople, is all through the entire selling process, but also from a sales management and leadership is, how do you help your managers coach their people and get them effective, hold them accountable, motivate them in the right way. You as a leader, if you're playing that role of sales leader, how do you lead and put the strategies in place and get people behind and make sure you're on task to what needs to be done. So that's all the pieces of what we help with and what we do.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So given the current economic uncertainty, what are the most important or significant things that you're seeing in shifts or disruptions in the sales and business development world?
I was thinking about this, and there are big ones like AI. Obviously, AI.
Well, that's probably a big
that's probably the number one everybody wants to talk about.
Sure.
And I just started with a new group of managers last week, and we have this 9-month training and coaching we're going through to help them. They're in the commercial office moving world. And probably I sent out a survey ahead, just like what's your top 2 sales management challenges, and what's one thing you want to learn through this so we can be focused on helping you solve problems and stay on track. And you saw a lot of similar, sales process now put in place, use it, hiring and recruiting those people, motivating, but probably 40% was AI. And I said, okay, in our first meeting we had last Thursday, I said, I'm gonna get ahead of this AI thing because I know it's on everybody's. Yes, of course, right? We are not going to talk about that until we've got the basics in place. Because if you're not doing the basics, you don't have the right tools, processes, the right things. Well, all AI helps you do is more of the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
That all it's going to do is help you
Yeah.
do quicker and faster the wrong things, right? That's
Very
Have
good
that
point.
good foundation
yeah. You've got
first.
it's based on that. So that is a disruptor, sure, but there's other things that are happening, and a lot of it goes back to like the uncertain times we have now. We've seen them in the past, just in different forms. When I came out of college in 2000, I came out right in the dot-com bubble burst, and I was actually in a technology company at the time and got to be on the front lines of that burst. If you go back to 2008, we had the economic downturn and the recession, right? If you go back to just a few years ago, we had COVID.
It's like every 5 years.
Yeah,
every
yeah.
10 years.
So there's some of the biggest disruptors is we're now in one of those with tariffs, with the current government, with uncertainty economically around that. That's a big disruptor, but we've seen it before. And what people forget is history does repeat itself, and the companies that did well. I mean, I was consulting and helping companies through COVID is the ones that said they kind of like they fell into one of three buckets with companies. One was people going, "This is crazy. We're not sure. It's so unknown. We're just going to bury our head in the sand, hope that it blows over." It's not going. There's other companies that went, "Okay, we're going to. This isn't great, but we're going to do some things, but we're going to be very, very cautious, and we're going to really scrutinize everything we do and really take our time. And we're probably going to miss some good opportunities here or getting ahead of some." And then there were other companies that went, "Okay, whether it was the downturn in 2008, whether it was COVID, there's always going to be something we're going to proactively go after. We've got clear goals. We know where we're going. We know there's going to be adjustments we've got to make along the way, but we're not laying the foot off the gas." So the best thing companies can do right now is to go get clear on the goals. Where are we going? Still do the things that have made us successful at this point. Just go do more of that right now. Go deeper on those. Like, so if it's, hey, we know going after and trying to help these types of companies, how do we do 10, 15% more of that every day? And it compounds. That's one of the biggest things that's helped with the disruptors. And AI is changing things, but there will still be a human element to selling and business development, no matter what. It's speeding up and giving more options of things on the front end, from my opinion.
So stay steadfast.
It is.
You might have to pivot and
yeah.
adjust. But
Well, one of the things, so this is goal setting time for a lot of companies, right? Because of the calendar year coming up in 2026 around the corner. One of the things I talk to is as we look at our goals, what are we already doing that's helping, and how do we go deeper and do more of that? And that may not be like, hey, I need to double what I'm doing today, tomorrow, because that's a lot to grasp. But if it's understanding like a compounding effect and going, if I just did 10% more. So if you think of prospecting for new business, if my goal is to make 20 calls or attempts today, what if I did 2 more a day? Well, that's not terrible. That's 2 more attempts. But if you compound that much like money over each day and time, it all adds up. And before you know it, it's like we've got so many more opportunities because we just did a little more every day consistently.
Thank you. So we talk a lot about what and how. So you're talking about having leaders rethink the what, or maybe double down on the what. How should they be thinking about the how? Should leaders be thinking about their processes?
Oh yeah. So number one thing to do is if you're a leader and going, okay, we want to make our the how and be more effective in our process. The first thing you got to do is to do like a doctor and go, let's look at the process now. What outcome are we getting that we don't want? You think from business development, probably the most common ones are price is too high. We already got somebody that we're using and we're going to stick with them, or we're just not going to do anything right now. We're not going to change from how we do it now or who we're using now. Those are probably, they come in various forms, but probably the 3 most common. So if I'm a leader and looking at our process, the very first thing I go, those are the symptoms, like a doctor. It's like you walk in a doctor's office and go, Sean, I've got this cough and it's been lingering for 3 weeks. Well, if you're a good doctor, you're not going to go, oh, here you go. Go take this prescription, right? If you're a good doctor, you're going to go, okay, well, let's ask some questions and figure out what's the underlying cause of that cough and make sure we're diagnosing for the right thing so we can give you the right solution that's going to help fix it and you won't be coming back in here. And so same thing with sales leaders. We got to go, okay, if we get these outcomes, let's look back in our process and go, what are we doing or not doing that caused that? I truly believe that 99% of those outcomes you get that you don't want, there is something you or your people did or did not do that got you there. Like there's always going to be some one-off crazy something like out of your control, but most of it's like, okay, did we get in front of the right people to make decisions? Did we find out what's compelling to them? Did we find out, are they really committed to doing something about it versus like, this is a nice to have? Did we really talk through and align on the investment of time and dollars and effort? Did we really understand their business processes and their decision process and how they buy and align with that and what's most important to them? Did we make sure we had good next steps, on that we've agreed on these things? 99% of the time you can look backwards, and a great leader needs to look backwards and go, what are we doing or not doing to cause that? And then what can we adjust earlier? I call it to put the fires out before they ever start.
Yeah.
Same thing with if you go, my people aren't prospecting enough or they're not getting enough new opportunities. We'll look backwards and go, how much are we doing at the front end? Do we know what that looks like? Are we doing enough? If we are, okay, are we getting enough results from that, enough conversation, enough meetings? If not, what do we need to adjust there? Great leaders are ones who can be like those doctors and ask questions, maybe tough questions at times, because I always say, with managed leaders, bring reality to it. May not be the question they want to hear or, want to ask, but if it's going to help us figure out what to do different, let's ask those so we can figure out how do we get ahead of those things later.
Thank you.
So you talk about those symptoms or those hurdles and those 3 questions that you had mentioned, but how do employers get ahead or change in a stagnant environment or a stagnant, get over those hurdles how do you recommend people getting over those hurdles if there's like a stagnant environment?
Sure. So the first thing you got to figure out is, do we have clarity of where we're going?
Yeah.
The what, right? Because if you're not clear and you don't have a good compelling reason why that you can communicate to others, they're not going to be clear and they're not going to get behind you. The second thing I need to figure out is, how does that fit with my people? Are they motivated to get better, and what is driving them? And how do we align that with where we're wanting the company to go? Sometimes you can't get the stagnation to unstick if you don't have the right people.
Yeah.
If they're literally not motivated because it's not the right fit, or they're just not driven, or they're in a point in their career where like, okay, I'm going to be retiring soon, and like I just kind of want to ride out and get to my retirement. Those aren't like, you can keep them on until that point in time and they've earned it, but you got to go, if we really want to get that next level, we're going to have to bring in those people who are motivated. I always say you can't create motivation people, but you can uncover it and then stoke the fire. Right? And too many leaders try to create they should be motivated for my reasons, and no. People are motivated for their own reasons. They're motivated for the pool in their backyard, not the one in yours.
Right.
And I have that conversation all the time. I like, with a lot of leaders, is like, do you know the pool in their backyard? Like, what is important to them? Why are they going after that? And then how can you go, hey, here's where we're wanting to go as a company, and here's how your part works into that, and here's how, if we go here as a company, how that can help you get to where you want to go.
Yeah.
And if you can get all that lined up, that can help unlock it. The other piece there is also setting some accountability. I know it's a word people hate to hear, the big A word, but they hate it when it becomes, I don't understand why we do this, and it's about, you don't trust me and you're trying to catch me, versus we're doing it because you said this is where you want to go as a person. And so that means hitting these goals, and here's the path we've laid out. Go back to what I said about having those behaviors and those metrics and KPIs. And if we're having these tough conversations, it's not because I'm trying to beat you up or I'm trying to catch you, or I don't trust you playing big brother, big sister. It's because this is to help you get to where you want to go. It becomes less about that micromanaging and that tough conversation when it's going to help you get there.
Yeah, and they've agreed upon it.
Exactly. It's an agreement. And great leaders, go first, are they motivated, and do I have clarity of that? We've got that line. And the second is, am I able to help them stay on path and stay towards the vision where they want plus where we want?
Yeah. I know sometimes as a business owner myself, in tight economic situations or just uncertainty, business development sometimes gets pushed aside, takes a back burner. Sometimes we cut back on business development and sales people. although is a saying that you can't cut your way to prosperity, but how do we?
That's great. That's a great one. Yeah, yeah.
How do we ensure that the business development continues to be a priority at all times? You said you got to keep pushing forward, but that may not be our natural instinct sometimes.
Sure. And most people, it's not. Like, I can't tell you the number of people I know who woke up and went, I want to get into sales. I want to go out and cold call people and do this on a day-to-day basis. Like, there's a few crazy people out there. I say crazy, but they're great, who do. But like most of us go, no, I prospect every day, and people are like, how do you do it? I go, I do it because I realize how important it is. To me, it's like breathing air. I'm not going to go, seconds without breathing, but a day without breathing air because it's that important. I go, if I want to, once again, get to the goals personally of my goals and my vision, and this is a path to do it, then that means I've got to make the choice of the things I don't like doing, because I don't wake up and go, oh, I can't wait to go, ask people for business or try to, get out in front of people I don't know. And that's not, I'm an introvert by nature. It's not my natural, instinct, right? But I go, it's that important. I look at things like things my wife and I have agreed, like we want to do in our vision for our life, right? Things to help my family. And I literally have pictures of that around, my office at home and the office, because I don't want to pick up that phone and make that call or do that thing, it's like, okay, that's why I'm doing it. So very firstly, I go, why am I, like leaders have to go, why am I doing it? Why am I risking? It's like, what's your son's name? Carter. I'll give you two scenarios. Let's imagine like there was a couple pillars here in the studio, and there was a 2x4, like 12 feet up. And if I asked you, could you walk across that 2x4? Could you do it?
If my life depended on it, maybe.
That's the key. Like at first you'd be like, no, I can't. But I go, if Carter was over there, somebody was holding him hostage, and they're like, the only way for you to get Carter back is to walk across this 2x4. Would you be able to do it?
I would, yes.
Yeah. Well, it's risk. You have something to risk for, right? And same thing is like, with that, when it comes to prospecting and selling, is you got to go, okay, do I understand what we're risking for and how important it is? Now, the next thing is, and I'm going to kind of challenge thinking, is I know it's natural and easy when things get tight, certain functions get cut right away. It's usually sales and marketing are two of the first to go.
Yep.
But I want you to think about the logic behind that. You're saying we need to grow. These are tough economic times, but yet we're going to cut off the engine that does that on a regular basis. And I see so many leaders that do that, and I go, wait a minute, what are we doing? You're going, we need to grow, but I've just cut off the engine, or most of the engine that's doing it. Now, given if you go, hey, we've got people who aren't out there doing what they should, and now it's hard. Yes, you need to go get better people, but you don't need to stop the engine. Like that's going to because as a leader, you're saying is basically, if we're going to do that, then it's now back on me. And great leaders realize that's probably not where I bring the most value. I bring the most value of really setting the goals of this organization, really leading the vision, getting out there, making the bigger connections that are going to move us ahead, thinking through the strategy and putting in action, motivating people, helping them get better, not out there selling.
Yeah, and in 6 months you'll see everything tank because you've let go of that.
Yep.
That leeway.
Yep. It's roller. So it's instead of doing the roller coaster, it's just let's consistently make sure we're doing the actions we need every day. And there's going to be ups, like it's like the whole projection of success is that it looks like this, like from afar away, but when you get in, there'll be ups and downs, right? That's like how it actually looks, but there won't be the huge, like the roller coaster, because you're consistently doing the things you need to.
Thank you.
So what's one thing you could recommend to a business that's big or small that they could do to continue to strengthen their sales and keep that momentum going up?
Just get out every day in front of people. Get out every day and reach out to folks that you believe you can help. And see, like that's the very first thing. So if you think of anything in life, I'm going to use a triangle kind of format, and just help think through it. There's three parts. There's a behavior, attitude, and technique. Behavior is goals, expectations, why are we doing this, actions, track and metric and KPI. Technique is my sales process and how to have the conversations and practicing those and working recording and reviewing or role playing, getting better. And then attitude is your mindset. What are you telling yourself belief wise? Is it helping, hurting? Are you saying I got this, I can do it, or I don't know, how am I going to handle it? those three things. Everything we do in life, there's a behavior, attitude, technique. We're improving something, doing it the first time. A lot of people think if I want to get better at something, it's got to be improving a technique. It's got to be improving an attitude. And it's triangle. Those things are important. But the very first thing I do is, am I doing the behaviors that's needed to get there? Because your technique will not get better if you're not out executing, doing something with it. I can read all the books in the world, but if I don't do anything with those books, it don't matter.
Yeah.
And then your mindset, like a lot of people believe, well, once I just get feeling better, I'll do more of it. Now, if I don't like cold calling, I'm not going to wake up tomorrow morning and go, oh, I love cold calling, I'm going to do a bunch. No, I'm going to make myself start doing some things, and I'm going to start to go, oh, actually, that's not so bad. I can do a little bit more. This is getting better through the actions.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Great advice.
Thank you.
We always like to ask our guests, now that you have all this wisdom, what is something you know now that you wish you had known earlier in your career?
Oh, gosh, that's a great question. And I appreciate asking, because I don't think I've asked a lot of mentors in my life about this, and like so many people want to hear the successes. They don't always ask about what did you screw up? What do you wish you would have done differently or you would have known? So that's why I really appreciate it, because I think that's where the real wisdom happens, through those mistakes. The one thing I would have worked on and done earlier in this career, just overall, is just working around the beliefs of I got this. When I started in 2014, I had never coached salespeople before. I take it back. A little bit of my previous job, the inside sales guys, I was literally taking what I was learning at Lucian and just like, they were all fresh out of college, prospecting. I'm like, do this, do that. And they're like, that worked, great, right? And we'd meet once a week, because it helped them. By helping them, I was helping myself. But I'd never, sat down and coached a business owner, president, or CEO of a company, or a leader. And so the first thing I walked in with was what they call the imposter syndrome. I was like, why are they going to listen to me? I've not been here. I don't have the experience. And one of the things that, we would talk about, and I had to remind myself, and going back, I wish I would have been stronger at earlier, I've had to work on, is just, they wouldn't be sitting down with you if they had it figured out. Your worst day is usually 10 times better than their best in this particular area. Now, they're great at what they do, right? Or whatever's their superpower, but that's your thing, and just to own that. I look back, and there's a lot of times around my career where I missed some things, screwed up, and I was like, if I would have just had that mindset earlier. But that's part of the wisdom, is you learn it through the mistakes you make. So
that is great advice.
Yeah.
I think we need to have a whole podcast on imposter syndrome.
Yes. Yeah, that's definitely a topic that helps a lot of people.
It does. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Terrific conversation.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate being on here.
Yeah. Shad, I will say that you've already sold me, and that I've learned something about sales and business development in this conversation.
Oh, good.
I'm sure our listeners will agree. So if our listeners do want to get a hold of you, how can they do that?
I'm going to give two ways they're best.
Okay.
Number one, you can email me, Shad, S-H-A-D, @Lucian, LUSHIN.com. The other place you can go is if you go on our website, lucian.com, upper right corner, there's a little button that says Talk to a Coach. Literally takes you to a landing page. You can fill out some info, your contact info, et cetera, and then you can select me as a coach, and that sends me an email. I'll reach out within 24 hours or less to just basically schedule 20 minutes to talk and see how we can help.
Great.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you again for being with us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on.
Conversation.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. We will be back with more great conversations. Until then, continue leading and growing with purpose.